Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Welcome to this Love Morning. It is President's Day. And that's not high on my mind, although President Carter is on my mind, who is in hospice and a truly inspiring human. Maybe share more gratitude for him later and some trauma update stuff and a little update on my Love Ambassador morning and a little request for some things that I need for the Stay Sparked podcast. But first a song. Welcome to this morning broadcast. I hope all the good feelings last. We're gonna get together and share our gratitude. All this good vibes can't but help our attitude. It's love morning. It's love morning with you. It's love morning. And there is just more than two. We got a crowd for our morning, and we're gonna share it all around, and we're gonna scream it to the mountaintops as we plant up on the ground. Welcome to Love Morning. Love Morning today. Good morning. Welcome to Love Morning. That song was made up as I started it. Little improv song, as I like to do each day. Gets the blood moving a little bit, especially when I stand up in the middle. If you are here, would love to hear your gratitude, love to see a comment so that we can see you and know you're here and know that we're sharing this experience together. It's not just this guy ranting into a microphone. It's also all of us coming together and recognizing that we're all more alike than we are different, and feeling that strength of community and of shared direction, and that direction being of gratitude, kindness, connection. Ooh, I feel better than I did just 30 minutes ago, and I think it's because of you, so thank you. Good morning, Angela, and good morning, Brent. Good morning to you both. And good morning, Tommy. Good morning. Hi, Faith. Good morning to you in Florida. Faith is grateful to be taking my son to lunch. In the corner of my eye, I saw son to lunch, and I saw son of a bitch, because no, that's not what you said. You said son to lunch, which is even better. Yay, enjoy your lunch. Good morning to you, Natasha. Thanks for that song in return. Aloha, Etoile. Happy Monday. And hi, Esta. Good morning. Thank you. This is my Love Ambassador shirt. I like this one too. I think I'm going to discontinue this style because I'm going to make a new Love Ambassador shirt. This one is based on a mug that I have this tape on. But it doesn't make sense if you don't know the mug. It's a little too cold. I think that, especially like on the back, it says I talk to strangers. And I think with the tape and this font, it's a little creepy. So I'm going to make one that's a little bit more fun. I think that's the goal. Good morning, Christopher. Oh, these shirts, by the way, available in my store at lovemorefearless.com. And that's related to something I'm going to talk to in a minute. And if you want to think about it, we're recording the next episode of Stay Sparked today. And the topic is the tools and techniques and practices that we, the hosts, use to keep ourselves mentally healthy. The ones that we use and we have used. I'm going to share some of those. But if you have ones that, practices that are helpful to you, ones that that are really like part of your practice, I would love to hear them and share them. They would be ideal. You can share here, or send me a message. And if I can, I would like to mention them during the broadcast. If you're not listening to Stay Sparked, well, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, thanks, Etoile. She likes the font. Natasha says, once again grateful for the ability to work from home on days like today when the school has a holiday, so I don't have to pay for a day of babysitting. Excellent. Well, enjoy President's Day. I guess before I will get into my trauma stuff that is heavy and big in my head and heart right now, I will say we're celebrating President's Day, but really the only president I can think about right now is Carter. Carter went to hospice yesterday. President Carter really gets a bad rap, I believe. Not that I'm a scholar of history or presidents, but he was a kind man driven by principles. I would argue perhaps the most value principle driven leader that this country has ever. No, I won't say ever. That is certainly in my lifetime. He is someone who is driven by his true faith, his desire to be Christ-like, which is very different than being a Christian in the political spectrum, which is what we see now, and manipulating voters with trigger point issues. Carter was a man who is into 98 years old, is what he is right now. We can witness him, building homes for Habitat for Humanity. You can witness the way he speaks about things, the stances he takes, the actions and the words of his life are really inspiring. In fact, he said, someone quoted a speech that he gave, crisis of integrity or something like that, where he gave a speech to the country that was really like hey, people, we are going down a bad path of we are starting to care about wealth and things and stuff. I should find the quote and not butcher it, but he kind of really said a little come to Jesus moment for the country, and he lost the next election because he wasn't just blowing smoke and saying what people wanted to hear. He treated us like adults that needed a little bit of talking to, and we did not reward him for it, which is disappointing. I'm sure it's more complicated than that. You may have a story of why he was bad, but if you can suspend that story and look into the man, I think you'll see that he's one of great principle and a role model in many ways. In fact, when my brother's second child was born, and he said, we don't have a name yet, I said, how about Carter? So my nephew's names are Caleb, after Grandpa Caleb, and Carter, after President Carter. So, to Jimmy Carter. Wow, I got a little emotional. To another example of a life lived according to principle and how you can affect the world with the ripples of your life. So as long as I'm feeling emotional, might as well jump into the other topic I wanted to mention. If you want to hear and you want to share more grateful, I would love to hear more gratitude. Tommy is grateful for this puppy's flea meds came in, and an AA meeting. Have a beautiful day, Tommy. So if you have been tuning in regularly, you have probably seen me having some difficult times recently. And I had broadcast that I have therapy this weekend, and I was grateful for my therapist to make some time for me over the weekend. And so I had so much has happened, way more than I can or should share publicly, as far as the way my relationships have affected me or shifted in me, and I also am realizing that because the people in my life sometimes watch these broadcasts, I need to be more aware of how things I say will be heard or received by the people that are important to me. But I will try to tell my story and what my story is to tell. And so when I went into therapy, I was trying to share the circumstances of what's going on to try to get some insight and um, and really got really powerfully, I feel like, affirmation or clarity about I think one of my core traumas. And and I'll say, just to be really clear for those who are like me, who up until recently I didn't understand. I still don't understand trauma, but like you can be traumatized by things that are not, being beaten or terrible things. You can be traumatized by just situations over time. If you needed something as a child and you didn't get it, or you wanted something and you didn't get it, that can cause a traumatic response. And so I needed and wanted approval and attention. And and so it is very difficult for me to need or want attention and then not get it or have it be taken away. And if you'll notice, my therapist was talking about how young children will say, like, look at my drawing, look at my drawing, look at my drawing, look at my drawing, look at this, watch me run, time me, look at me, watch me die, look. And if you do not, give the kid attention and you do not let them be seen, they can develop some of what I am experiencing now, which is this traumatic need for, or desire for. It's not the desire for, it's the response you have for not getting it. And so she was talking to me about how kids are so persistent. And as I am looking at my life, because at first I was like, well, I'm totally, look at me, look at how I live my life, my hair, and look at me. But then the more we were talking, the more I'm like, I actually don't say, look at me. I act and do things in hopes that people will look at me. Because I'm afraid that if I say, look at me, and I don't, I'd get, I'm afraid of that feeling of not getting the attention or the love that I wanted or I needed. And so I just do this, and if I get the attention, I'm a yes. But that's way different than asking for it and then not getting it. And that's that fear of failure that has really affected my life. Like, how many people have seen me do promotions for my coaching, or promotions for my book, or promotions for anything, because I'm afraid. I ask once, like, hey, I made a drawing. You don't want to, hey, it's just, I'm going to put the drawing on the table, and if you want to look at it, Dad, you can look at it. And so and I should say that my relationship with my dad is awesome now, and he really cares about me and the things that I'm doing. But there was a time when he had a little bit more traditional, old school, working dad focus in his life. At a time when maybe I was wanting more as a kid, I think. So it's just the way that it was. And so I'm now trying to figure out how to heal this. And my therapist has got me reading Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma. And it explains why, in one of my relationships over the last couple of weeks, a person needed space so that they could figure some shit out. And it triggered me into this trauma response, and it was very difficult for me. And I told my therapist, I'm like, there's this voice. It's like, see, this is why you don't get vulnerable. Don't expect or come to depend on that affection and that warmth and that approval, because they take it away, and then it feels that way that you know too well, or you have been so good at keeping out and away. You've been so good at protecting me from that. But you fucked up and you let him in, and now you let down your wall, and this is what happens. And my therapist is like, there's another voice that's saying, if you don't let down the wall, you will never let anyone in, and you will be lonely, and you will be separate, and you will not have the joy that's capable and possible in this life. So I am in a deep sense of, I'm trying to be in a place of gratitude, and I'm trying to feel grateful. Well, I got a light on my face. That's kind of eerie. I'm trying to have faith, and I'm trying to be optimistic that this is the path through. I have shifted a lot of my frustration, or I am feeling gratitude for the human that is helping to illuminate and has helped me find this clarity of this trauma response, and hopefully having faith that it will lead to healing and a better way forward. But it is taking a whole bunch of faith to shout over that voice saying, you fucked up. Don't do this again. I'm going to blow my nose, excuse me. And I should say that, I know that seeing a man cry is very disturbing for people sometimes. And even my therapist, I felt like she was kind of like overreacting to my tears. Not overreacting, but she's like is trying to give me physical touch, which is part of our arrangement. It's not, it wasn't inappropriate. When I started crying, which I do every time we have a session, and I cry fucking here all the time. So it's not, I don't feel like crying is something that needs to be fixed. And so I'm trying to court this chapter as one when I can start to be aware of my experiences, be aware of feelings. I'm actually not feeling anything negative right now. These tears are just like flying out as I'm talking about these topics. I'm not feeling any of the trauma response. I'm not feeling any of the constriction. I'm not feeling anything negative in that way. I'm just like, I'm just kind of in this raw emotional state. It's not unpleasant. I'm not suffering. It's nothing. I'm not running from it, which my trauma response is something that is horrible. I don't like it at all. And I've built my life to avoid it. And it is really given me a lot, like Halcyon exists because I had to figure out a way to protect myself and be a certain way in the world. And it's fucking awesome. I'm super grateful. But there's limitations on it. And I'm not looking at all the comments right now because I'm trying to stay focused on what I'm feeling. So I'll read it when I calm. And I sometimes have so much guilt because I have so much privilege. I feel like, oh, really? You didn't get what you wanted as a kid? Your parents were both there for you. You had everything you needed. Oh. But the reality is it doesn't really matter. That we all have these things from different ways, and there's no right, wrong, guilt. There's no villains in the story of trauma. There's just the recognition of its existence or of the response and trying to heal it. At least that's my understanding. So I think about like how many times in my life I have been afraid of rejection. I think about how much of my life has been about trying to say, look at me without saying, look at me. Without risking somebody saying, you're not worth looking at. You don't got anything to say. This isn't good enough. Which I don't have to deal with that if I just scream from the mountain. Not scream, just like dance and be bright. And if I catch your attention and you like it, then you come closer to me. That's doesn't have risk. If I say, come over, I want to show you something, and you come over and you go, that's what crushes me, I think. And that's why you have probably not seen me promote my program, my coaching, my books. Probably are unaware of a lot of things that I do in the world. I just say, hey, if you want to see more stuff, go to links.hugnation.com or soon to be johnstin.com. So that's my epiphany from this weekend. That's my endorsement of therapy. Also, the recognition that therapy is not, go to therapy and then you get like, here, you feel better. Sometimes, or often, if it's good, it's like, let's dig. All right, now we can see the splinter. See the splinter? All right, now, what are you gonna do to get it out? And how long are you gonna have physical therapy to build back the muscles that were never developed because you had to work around or whatever? And I should say, like, Natasha saying that, I thank you for this. I will do more looking at the kiddos' drawings and moves in her video games, even when she's asked what seems like a million times. So, a solid epiphany. And it's not, it doesn't mean you have to pay attention all the time. It just, but I do think that there is something about, for me, there was something about a young chapter. I believe, I don't have a memory of this, but this all things are pointing to a chapter when I was hungry for someone to not someone. I don't want my mom to think that I'm talking about her because she was awesome. At least I don't know. I don't have a memory, so maybe there was a chapter, a time when I didn't get it from the people I needed. And again, this is not a finger pointing. This is not a blame. This is just the way the development happened, and parental ideas shift over time, and parental role models. And there was a time, if the mom's there and being warm, then it doesn't really matter if the dad is at work I think that just in my unpacking of my psyche, there's something back there where I developed a trauma response to wanting approval and attention that I didn't get. So, that's where I'm at today. And I appreciate this space as a way to collect my thoughts and do so. I feel it's like, thanks for being a part of my support group, because I do feel the love. And I guess I'll say, like, I've helped create this container of support and love. So I appreciate you trusting me. And, all the things that made me who I am have led me to this place too, which is filled with all sorts of good stuff. It's just that the process of an examined life is figuring out, oh shit, here's something that's not functioning the way that maybe it could. Here's, you sand the edges of your beautiful self, and every once in a while you go, oh, here's a rough spot. This is what I need to work on now. And my rough spot right now is like, how have I not seen this before? Whoa, this is a big rough spot that has affected a lot, at least as I'm understanding it. And maybe helped me to become a person of service in the world like I am. But the next chapter or chapters or eventual chapters hopefully will allow me to open my heart a little more and not be so obsessed about people pleasing. That's a big part of this too. And I'll just keep talking a little bit more, because that's this desire for approval, this need for that love. It makes me so afraid of upsetting people or disappointing people. I have an example from today of how this people pleasing kicked in. So I asked if I could use, my family has a condo that I sometimes get to use, and I asked if I could use it today over the weekend, and was told, yeah, it's not being used on Monday. It's going to be cleaned. There's professional house cleaners are coming in on Tuesday, so you can use it on Monday. And I was thinking, great, that means I can use it and it will be cleaned before my parents see it. That's perfect. Awesome. And then I got, my mom said this morning, oh, the house cleaner wants to do it today. Will that work for you? What time are you going to be there? And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be there until 2:30. So if they could do it in the morning. Now, I instantly was like, I want to make the house cleaner happy. I want to make this easier for them. I want to make it easier for the house cleaner. I'm like, I do that all the time. I don't order a fancy drink from a bartender because I don't want to make it difficult for them. I want to make it easy. I'll just order a beer. I don't ask things about the questions on the menu because I don't want to impede the waitress the waiter's flow. I don't want to take up too much time. I don't like parallel parking when there's people waiting because I don't want to be a burden to these people. I don't want anyone to ever give me that look of like, I don't want to get in. And so I said, yeah, sure, they can clean it today. Now I'm like, wait, now I'm going to use it right after the housekeepers get there. So then I'm going to have to just like walk on eggshells. I certainly I'm going to cook there tonight, because what if I'm not? So now I'm going to adjust my life in a bunch of extra effort because I didn't want to make the house cleaner's job, which is their job, and they were planning on going tomorrow. But I wanted to make their life easier. I wanted to people please them. Someone I barely know I've met, in passing. But that's how I live. And it's related to this trauma response. I don't want anyone ever to disapprove or be disappointed by me or feel like I've been a burden to them. I don't want to say, look at my drawing, and then be like, ah. I don't want to say, oh, can you do it tomorrow instead? And then go, ah, fine. Ah. So maybe I will work through this, and I will learn to be a bigger asshole. My last longtime partner was someone who was really a very opposite of me, and it was like, didn't give a fuck. Look, I'm not gonna adjust what I want to do just because it bothers somebody else. Did not bother her at all. And it was so difficult for me and so helpful for me to try to learn a little bit. And I thought I was getting a lot better, but I think that I can only get so much better until I deal with this trauma or the trauma response and try to heal from it. So I'm going to take the optimism of my therapist and the stories of success and healing that I've heard from others and just have faith. So, all right. Now I will try to look at some comments and receive things that you have been saying, and I appreciate it. I see that we've got Jennifer's here. Good morning. And Alice, hello. And Panique, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Painty. And if I miss people, you please say hello. Hey, Fjord. Hi, Mickey. Good morning, Isabel and Claire. Erica, good morning. Luann, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And who's checking in from YouTube? Leon, good morning. That's Sharon. And hello, and Joubert. And hello, Gerbot. And Miria, hello, good morning. And hello, everyone who's here. And I apologize for not being more focused on chat and comments because I really needed to sit in that space. Sometimes if I'm flowing, channeling thoughts, and then I'll read a comment that's like off track. I'll see a comment that says like, "Is he gay?" And all of a sudden I'm like, so I have to kind of like. Well, Ram Dass says we're all just walking each other home. So I appreciate the hand and the help as I need it. I was with a friend a few days ago, and I let them know. I'm like, look, I recognize that I'm leaning on you heavily right now, and I know I feel like I'm a burden, but I'm saying this out loud to you and to myself that like I can be a good friend and I can be there for you when you need it, but right now I need your support. I'm leaning heavily on you. And that's a hard thing for me to do too, because that's also this. That's part of this of like, It's so hard for me to say and admit that I need help, because then if it's the same thing of like, look at my drawing, no, or it's the fear of that rejection. I don't know if rejection is the right word, but like yeah. So. My edge there is this asking. Woo! Hobby's here. Good morning. And hello, Carol. I do believe this is a safe space. So feeling the hugs and the love. I looked online but didn't see it. What were you looking for, Etoile? No, I'm confused, but that's all right. I've already forgotten what I was talking about. So if you're grateful for something, we've got a little bit more time. Have I really been talking for Oh my gosh, I've been talking for a long time. I guess I needed to speak. I'm going to be recording Stay Sparked in a few minutes. We're going to be talking about the techniques and tools that we use to stay healthy, which I feel like I'm gonna start the broadcast, at least my portion, say, look, these are things that I have done, or some of them I'm doing now. Most of the things I will share are things I've done in the past. I really am feeling a little bit of a imposter right now because I know there's a lot more that I could be doing to make myself healthier and feel better, especially with the my hosts Betsy and Janus. I know they have very dedicated practices, and the other people, a lot of people in my life that I'm learning from and inspired by are more dedicated in their practices. At the same time, I do have a 3 times a day gratitude practice, so I'm not going to beat myself up that I do 3 public broadcasts a day here and then 2 in Zoom. So, and I will say, since I'm asking, I would love it if you would join me at noon or 6 p.m. sometime. It's an open, radically inclusive group. It's often small and intimate. We can just have some quality time together. It's just like this, except I don't talk as much and everyone else gets to talk a little bit. No more than 30 minutes, usually much shorter. Just we pop in, share some gratitude. So I will be sharing that practice and others. There's probably some people here that are a part of that practice and community as well, but you are more than welcome. I would love it if you would join. Just try it. Come in at noon, and that's at zoom.hugnation.com. Jennifer is grateful for honeysuckle hibiscus tea. Yeah. Fjord is respecting my t-shirt, the Love Ambassador shirt that is, I think, still available at the lovemorefearless.com store. My t-shirt store. I just thought about that. I think that's like, I have never done advertising. I've never done marketing beyond just like saying to my people that are already my followers, because I have this fear. This came up when I was talking to someone recently. I'm like, if one of you comes to something that I'm doing, if I say, hey, I'm going to give a talk, and one of you comes, I feel like, hey, there's love here. I can just be present and trust that this is going to be a beautiful, loving container. But if I say, hey, I'm giving a talk, it's $10, I'm awesome, I'm going to tell you great things, it's going to be awesome, and then I feel like there's people that come in and go, who is this guy? This better be worth $10. Ugh, this ain't worth $10. Yes, Natasha's saying, will you post the Zoom link and the reminder on Facebook? Yes, I will. And I actually should probably resend it in my mailing list, since I do have a mailing list that I'm so afraid of being annoyingly promotional. I don't usually even tell people on my mailing list or my Patreon. Like, do you even know I have a Patreon? How often do I talk about my Patreon? I don't. Because I'm afraid of people going, ugh, this guy with his constant self-promotion, man. But it's nice to hear that a lot of people resonate with this. I mean, I was getting really down on myself last week. I was starting to feel like, you guys don't mind being my therapists and support group where I just talk the entire time. I feel like I have to apologize. Like, hey, you can leave anytime. I'm so 2-dimensional. Look at me. I'm like, oh, I feel bad. I don't mean, you don't have to stay. You don't have to stay, Dad. You can go. I don't want you. I don't want to be a burden. I was getting a little down on myself that, like, I don't really do anything of meaning. I don't I don't have a, you know, a technique to heal depression. I just talk about myself and I share my journey and I talk about the insights that I have, but it's all so personal, kind of narcissistic even, and it's no wonder I don't have a bigger following, and I don't people don't sign up for my program when I mention it, and then the next day someone came into the gratitude circle, and they said that it was the 1-year anniversary of them going downstairs and finding their father had committed suicide. And that they had not, told me until now, but that they had watched all my videos about suicide. And it was incredibly helpful in their ability to make sense of and process and deal with their father's suicide. And it was a beautiful feeling to know that that I need to listen to my own bullshit, and that it's the direction that you're going, not the distance. It's not the number of people that pay you for a program. That if you put ripples of love in the world and it helps somebody, that is something to be proud of, and that is nothing to be critical of. And I got caught up in comparison. I got caught up in metrics of the default world. I got caught up in stuff outside of the beautiful truth that I know, which is that we just shine our light as best we can and trust that will touch people in the way that it should, or should. And that if that gentleman is the only person that was ever helped by what I did in the world, then would that be enough? Yes, perhaps. Like my Uber driver the other day says, "Man, I just want to know that I made a difference to one person." And I was like, I didn't want to, just in my head, I'm like, wow, I know really clearly that I've done that. So I need to be a little kinder to myself. I think I have like impact dysmorphia, where I always feel like I'm not doing enough because I could always do more. The same way, like, even when you look good in the mirror, you're like, I could be thinner. I could have bigger muscles. So again, these are the thoughts going through my head. I have a pretty dedicated practice of self-inquiry, and so I appreciate that I can share these things and not get too caught up in feeling stupid or feeling like I've done something wrong, and because I know I do a lot of things right, and that life is always about growth and finding stuff to work on. Boy, I don't think I've gone through this many tissues in a long time. So I've been talking for a long time, and I think Max gave a suggestion. Can we do a hug? I think it's a really good idea. So, oh, I want to thank everyone for the comments and the love I feel. And I know I haven't been reading the comments aloud as I often do, but I know that you know that I feel your presence and your love, and profoundly grateful. So let's have a hug. Wherever you are in this moment, let's give ourselves a squeeze. And as we are sitting in this space, we might be physically isolated and physically alone, but we are connected in this place of intention. All around the world, these beautiful individuals recognizing that we're all part of this human experience. We're all doing the best we can with what we got. We are all, as Ram Dass says, walking each other home. And so feel these arms that are on you right now. Let them be my arm on your shoulder. Let this embrace be all the people who are here in this moment and have been a part of these broadcasts, these morning gatherings. Anyone who has been drawn to this space with this open heart, let's feel them for a moment and just feel like we got you, fellow humans. We know it's hard sometimes. We know it's fucking hard to just keep facing it. Each time we think we got it pretty much under control, we find some other rough spot we got to sand down. But know that we are together. Know that we can have patience. We have forgiveness for each other and for ourselves as we do this human thing, which it's all of it. It's triumphs and it's struggles, it's sorrow, it's grief, it's celebration, it's ecstasy, it's all of it. So just feel connected in that moment, in that place of shared humanity. Take a deep breath in, hold it and squeeze, and feel us all squeezing you. I can feel you squeezing me. Feel me squeezing you. Release. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb, Jimmy Carter, and all of you beautiful ambassadors of love, thank you for being here for this love morning and a part of Hug Nation. I love you. Thank you, Lilu. Thank you, Fjord. Thank you, Javi. Thank you, Gerbot. Thank you, Jennifer and Max. And thank you, Claire. Thank you, everybody here. I do want to just, one post-hug, slight shift, but all part of the same thing. One of the purposes of this morning gathering is to align us in love ambassador mode. Oh, look, the shirt. That's what I'm talking about. So, we have the ability as we go through the day to, I'll say this for myself. I need to actively choose to be open and connecting. To me, it's bravery. So I went on a walk this morning, just around the block. And as I approach someone, I feel some nervousness, some anxiety. I okay, say good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And I had like 5, either people or couples. I had like 5 opportunities to practice this morning. And each time I said good morning, and each time they beamed it back. So it was like a super 100% love morning. And then I passed a big box that said, we have too many lemons, take one. And so I took a lemon from some anonymous, unknown neighbors, and I was just feeling, yes, okay, this is another practice that really feels good to me of putting teeny tiny ripples out there in the world, just day after day after day after day after day. And even when, I don't feel so strong, even when I don't feel like I am someone who could lead or don't have much to offer. I know I have that to offer. I know I can be kind and smile and say good morning to somebody. So I encourage us all to do that. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Oh, I didn't ask for your self-help practices, but if you want to share any of your practices of self-care, like a gratitude journal or breathing exercises, whatever it is. Oh, Asher's calling me, so maybe I will get off the phone and then talk to Asher. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. No, I've got to record a podcast right now. Okay. Whee! Oh, I am going to record with tears in my eyes. What a beautiful, beautiful morning. And as Claire said, life gave me lemons. I should make some quick lemonade. Well, thank you for helping me make lemonade this morning. I love you. And sure, since I'll practice, go to links.hugnation.com and you can see a bunch of stuff that I do. I will try to be more actively in telling you about those things, like my books and my Patreon and my coaching, my gratitude circles, all these things that I have available. And I will trust that you will not give a dismissive look like a mythical figure that is no longer a real danger to me. All right. Bye, beautiful people.